Hello everyone, I am Professor Nayanasne, Department of Information Technology, Paratpaigan Bamosi College of Engineering, Vakoli. So in this session, we'll start with the Kanban, that is one of the Agile methodology. So the Agile Kanban is the Agile software development with a Kanban approach. In Agile Kanban, the Kanban board is used to visualize the workflow. Now first let's see what is the Kanban methodology. So the Kanban is the Agile methodology that is not necessarily iterative. As we have seen, Agile is the iterative and incremental development process model, but the Kanban methodology of the Agile is not necessary that it should be iterative. We can say that it is a framework to implement the Agile methodology. So as we know, Agile is the structured and iterative approach to the project management and the product development. Kanban focus on reducing the time that it takes to take the Kanban or take the project from the start to finish. So using the Kanban, you can minimize the time or you can reduce the time from start to finish. So the quick approach is defined under the Kanban. They do this by using a Kanban board and continuously improving their workflow. So all the Kanban work is done using the Kanban board. We have different tools under the Kanban. So first understand what Kanban is. Kanban is the one of the methodology which is used for the Agile software development. It is not necessary that Kanban should be iterative and Kanban should be incremental. So sometimes it is just a simple workflow which gives you the minimum amount of time which is required to start a project and to finish a project. That means you can achieve your deadlines very quickly. So there are several tools which are available in the Kanban. The first Kanban tool is the Kanban board. So the Agile project management tool which is used to design the visualized work, it is also called as the Kanban board. So limit work progress, it measures the limit work progress and it maximizes the efficiency. So as you can imagine the Kanban board as your blackboard. Suppose the team is developing a working software. So you have in classroom a blackboard. You can write or you can divide the board into the columns. So each column contains the workflow that should be achieved by your team or your software team. So each column contains the different cards. Now the Kanban card is the third tool which is used in Kanban methodology. So each card contains whatever work or whatever user story the users has been specified. Now if you see, you can also take the example of your sticky notes, then your flex or the banners, or you can say the simple cards on which you write the work. So the Kanban card is nothing but a single user story. So each Kanban card contains a single user story. The cards are attached in the column. So the column will have the number of cards which have to be worked on, So first we'll see the Kanban board. So Kanban board is nothing but the visualize working scenario. It also limits the work in progress and it maximizes the efficiency. So the Kanban board uses the Kanban cards as I have explained previously. So the Kanban cards and the Kanban columns. So each column has the numbers of cards. Each card contains one user story. So it gives us the continuous improvement and to help the technology and the service team to commit to the right workflow and get it done. So the elements of the Kanban boards are, first is the visual signal. That means we can also say it is a visual card, or we can say tickets, as if you have any query in your online question answering. So or if you have any query regarding your products which has been purchased, so what you do, you literally try to raise a ticket. To raise a ticket means to write a problem and place it onto the company's question and answer scenario, or you can also say to the Stack Overflow. So the Stack Overflow is one of the question answering scenario or scenario based platform on which you will put a question and you will get answers from the developers. So that is a Stack Overflow. So that time you have to raise your ticket. If you take the example of ticket for your appointment, so you have different numbers for your appointment. Okay, if you take a doctor appointment, you will assign a particular number, so that number can be a ticket. So the Kanban board uses the columns, the cards for the continuous improvement. So the elements of the Kanban cards are, first is the visual signal, which is also called as a ticket. Okay, the Kanban team writes all their work on these items of the Kanban team writes all the items on your card, and that has to be worked on. Then one card contains the one user story, so all the stakeholders quickly understand what work is going on in the project, or what the team is doing, what work the team is doing. So that is done, or that is understandable by the visual signal, which is also called as a ticket. This is the first element of your Kanban. Second is the column. Each column represents specific activities that are worked together. So each column contains the number of cards. Okay, each card contains one user story. So the numbers of user story in a column notify the numbers of requirements that are stated by the users. So if the column contains 3 cards, that means 3 user story need to implement, or 3 requirements from the user need to implement. Then the third element is work in progress. So the work in progress is nothing but your limit of the particular cards. Okay, how much numbers of cards should be attached, or how much numbers of cards should be placed on the column, that is your WIP, that is also called as a work in progress. So the column with WIP, work in progress, limit of 3 cannot have more than 3 cards on it. Okay. Now the fourth is the commitment point, that is from the moment from which the team starts its progress or team starts its work, depend on the user story. That is your commitment point. Fifth is your delivery point, that is you have to end your Kanban team's workflow. That is your delivery point. Whatever you have developed, you need to deliver. So that is your delivery point. So there are 2 types of Kanban boards. First is the physical and second is the digital Kanban board. Now physical means, as you see the notice boards on the colleges, so the notice boards has the sticky notes, different assignments which are pasted on your different labs board. So that is nothing but your physical Kanban board. It is same in the software industry. There is a simple board in which numbers of sticky notes has been attached, and then sticky notes gives us the user story. User story nothing but the requirements which are stated from the users, and you need to implement that requirement. So that are your user story. So Agile uses the user story. Each user story is implemented as it is the requirement which are stated from the user. So this is the Kanban. We have seen different tools, Kanban board, Kanban cards. We have seen the elements of that, and there are 3 basic principles of the Kanban. Okay. So the Kanban is based on 3 basic principles. The first is visualize what you do today, that is your workflow, seeing the all items in the context of each other, which can be very informative. So visualize your work today with help of cards. Second is limit the amount of work in a progress, that means the numbers of cards which are attached in your column, that is WIP, work in progress. So it will balance your workflow and your start and commitment dates. So, and last one is you enhance the flow. So when something is finished, the next highest string from the backlog is pulled into the play. So if you are done with your product story, or if you are done with your work, so next highest string, highest priority things is bring into your picture. So product backlog are nothing but the priority list, or backlog is nothing but your features, means high priority features which needs to be implemented first. So that is the enhanced story. So Kanban is based on 3 principles. First is visualize what you do today, that is your workflow. Second is limit the amount of work in progress, that is WIP, which will always balance the workflow. approach. And the third one is enhanced flow. That means something has been done, then you have to start the next highest thing priority, or next highest product backlog, that is product feature which need to be implemented. Then the next comes the extreme programming. Okay. So the extreme programming is one of the most used agile process model. All the agile process models obey the principle of your agility and the manifesto. The XP uses the concept of object-oriented programming. So whatever concepts are in the object-oriented programming are always implemented in the XP. In a conventional approach, the developer focus on the framework activity like as planning, designing, coding and testing. XP also have some rules and protocols which need to be implemented while you are developing your software using the XP, or while you are going with the agile process development. So we have the XP value and XP process. So first let's talk about the XP value. So the XP will give you the communication. XP value always contain the 5 things, which first is the communication, second is the simplicity, third is the feedback, fourth is the courage, and fifth is the respect. So extreme programming is based on the 5 principles or the 5 values, you can say. The first is the communication, second is the simplicity. So whatever we have done using the XP, it should be simple. The feedback is taken, the courage is maintained. So courage, nothing but the team members' courage themselves to again build the things. And respect whatever told by the customer, or respect whatever respect is given to the stakeholders, or whatever the user story which are created from the stakeholders. So this is the 5 basic values in the extreme programming. So next is your XP process. So if you see the traditional approaches like a waterfall, like incremental, so they also have some process stages such as the communication, requirement gathering, communication, your planning, your designing, your modeling, then development, testing, deployment, feedback. So XP also has certain phases of your XP process that complete or that covers your planning section, your designing section, your coding section and your testing section. So let's see the process flow of extreme programming. So first is the planning. User story is created which is placed on the user cards. Okay. Task cards, user story cards or task cards. Then designing is done on that. Simple designing is created. After creating a design, it goes to the coding stage. So using the object oriented mechanisms or paradigms, you create the code for the particular design which is done at the design phase. Okay. Then after coding, refactoring and pair programming is done. Okay. After coding, it will go to the testing phase. Again, if bugs are occur, then pair programming is done. Now this concept will be covered in the next section. So unit testing is done for each and every code which is created in the modules. So after the unit testing is done. If the things are accepted, okay, using the acceptance testing, the product is incremented. That means you move to the next increment. Else you have to go for a pair programming, again fix the bugs, again test the things. If things are okay, go to the product increment. Else you have to again pair programming, again you have to code, again refactoring is done, and again you will test for the things. So this is the iterative process again and again until and unless you are achieving the product backlog or the sprint backlog. So in this particular session, we have seen the extreme programming, we have seen the Kanban, we have seen the Kanban board, we have seen the Kanban tickets, we have seen the WIP, that is work in progress, the tools and the mechanisms which are used under the Kanban board. Okay. Elements of Kanban boards, that I have also specified 5 elements of the Kanban board. That is the visual signal, second is the column, third is a work in progress, fourth is commitment point, and fifth is the delivery point. So other things will be covered in next session. If you have any doubt, you can comment in comment section. Thank you.